Now, today we are going to observe one of the other law present in nature. This is one of the other natural law which talks about conservation of momentum. This nature follows various type of conservation like conservation of mass, conservation of charge, conservation of energy. Similarly, today's topic is also based on conservation, and here the conservation is for momentum. So today's class is based on conservation of momentum. As we have already come to know about momentum of any object at any time is taken by the product of mass of that object at that time and the velocity of that object at the same time, and we represent by symbol P. So momentum value is m into v. Now when we have to talk about conservation of momentum, so when this conservation law holds true, that we are going to understand, and how these conservation law helps us to simplify some of the questions in our life, some of the application of that conservation of momentum in our life. So this all we are going to cover in today's topic. So without wasting this concept, without wasting the time, we are going to start with that. Now first of all, we have to be clear about what is conservation. Conservation means the value of anything should remain same. Like in a bank, if you have targeted that 1 lakh rupees should be the saving in my account, but as we know, we have to sometime add value in that, sometime we have to take out. So if we have to target that, okay, 1 lakh rupees should be deposited, so that means whatever value of amount you are adding in the bank, then due to some reason you are taking it back also, but overall the 1 lakh target is not affected. So that means your value of money is conserved. Similarly, when we talk about conservation of wildlife, so that means, what does it mean? That the number of wildlife present on this earth should never change, should remain same. But as we know, somewhere some of the trees can be cut, but then according to conservation, if suppose 2 trees are cut somewhere, then in nature 2 more trees should be grown, so that the number of trees or wildlife remains same. So that is meaning by conservation. So that means when we talk about conservation of momentum, that means here we are going to conserve the value of momentum here. Now whose momentum? How do we conserve? When do we conserve? This all we are going to discuss today. Okay, so first of all, we should understand the law, what law says. Then we'll have an illustration, and on the basis of that illustration we'll come to know how in this situation, in this law, we talk about conservation of momentum. It says that suppose 2 objects are coming and they collide. Achha, the collision can be not only head on, it should be back to back also on a linear path, because right now we are dealing with linear momentum. So in any way the collision is taking place. Now what law says, that the sum of momenta of 2 objects which are going to collide. Now momenta is the plural word of momentum. Since we are taking momentum of 2 objects, so that's why we are using the sum of momenta of 2 objects. So suppose 2 objects are going whether this way or head on, both have some value of momentum. Now before collision, if we add the value of this momentum of these 2 objects and we get some value, suppose an object of mass m1 is moving with u1 velocity initially before collision, and another object of mass m2 with velocity u2. So what will the momentum before collision? m1 u1 for this, m2 u2 for this, and when we take sum, so suppose we are taking m1 u1 plus m2 u2 and we are getting value k. K means any value will be there. It can be anything. It can be even negative also, depending on the direction, because momentum is a vector quantity. So if suppose two objects are moving in the same direction, so the both sign will be same, no issue. But if they are going to collide in this way, so if one is taken positive, then another must have to be taken into negative. And when we are going to add these two, depending upon the magnitude of value of this momentum, it can be positive, it can be negative, or it can be both positive, because maybe both are moving in the same direction. So that doesn't matter. But whatever value is there before collision, and when we sum it up, so what are we doing this step? Before collision, this is the before situation, m1 u1 plus m2 u2, suppose we are getting k. Now law says that after collision also, the sum of momenta of these two objects will remain unaffected. That means, suppose after collision the situation is that this m1 object, mass m1 object has acquired velocity v1 due to collision action reaction, the velocity has changed. Now suppose new velocity from u1, it has become v1. So the momentum is m1 v1 now after collision, and suppose from u2 its velocity changes to v2. So the new momentum is m2 v2. Now when we are going to add these two momentum after collision, then the total will remain unaffected. That means now when you add m1 v1 plus m2 v2, again you are going to get k. That means the same value before collision. That means collision does not affect the value of sum of momenta before or after. But one thing you have to take care, that during collision only the action reaction force should be experienced by these two objects. One will obviously experience action, then obviously the first one will be experience reaction. Then during this collision no other force like gravity, friction, it should not be there. So if you read this law, what is this law saying? The sum of momenta of two objects before collision is always equal to the sum of momenta after collision, but provided no external force is there during collision. If another force will come into act, then this momentum conservation will be failed. So in this situation the total value of the momenta remains conserved. So for example, one other way to express the same is that the total momenta remains conserved. The total momenta, not the individual. Individual will change. Like here m1 u1, now it has the new momentum m1 v1. It can be lesser than this, it can be more than that, depending on the situation. But total remains conserved. So the total momenta remains conserved irrespective of collision. That means collision does not bring any change in the value of the total sum of momenta of the two objects. Individual it can change, but total will remain fixed. So for example, suppose this has momentum according to their mass and velocity. I am taking 60, and according its mass m2 and u2 I am taking 40 momentum. Now when we take both momentum together, what is the value coming? 100. Now according to law, this 100 value will never change. Whatever value it can be, positive, negative, and 0 can be also there. We will deal with the sum of the situation where the total momenta, sum of momenta before collision will be 0. So we will discuss in the application part that when it can be 0, and in that situation also the value of momentum will be conserved, the total momentum. So now if it is 60 and 40, the sum is coming 100. Now suppose after collision, now this situation m1 v1 m2 v2, now suppose the new momentum has 30. So from previous situation it was 60, now it is 30. So there is a loss of 30. So do you think that this value of momentum has been lost? No. So where has it gone? Now see the next partner. Now it has the momentum of 70 because according to mathematical concept, the sum remains 100. So if this one is decreasing, then to get the same sum, this other partner will have to be increased. So earlier it was 60 and 40, total was 100. Now suppose this is 30, so it will have to be a 70. So one loss of momentum will be the gain of another partner, because in all the situation, in all the conditions, they have to bring the sum 100. So this 100 and 100 both situation is there, so that means the value is conserved. So that is the meaning of law of conservation of momentum. Okay. Now it's time for how can we show the conservation of momentum mathematically. So our next topic is to mathematically how can we prove that yes, the sum of momenta of two objects before collision is equal to the sum of momenta of these same two objects after collision. Now, to get this mathematical expression, we'll have to discuss some vector knowledge. We are going to add some knowledge about some vectors. As you know, vectors are those physical quantity having magnitude as well as direction, like linear momentum, force and all. So, what right now is needed to understand is, suppose we show this any vector quantity by this length. This length shows the magnitude of this any vector and the arrow shows the direction. This is the way which we show any vector quantity in an animated way. Now suppose vector A has been shown by this length and in this direction. Vector B is again of the same length. That means A and B have the same magnitude. But the direction is opposite to A. Although magnitude is same, but vector A and vector B cannot be compared with each other because their direction is opposite to each other. So two vectors can be called same when they have same magnitude and same direction also. Then that's why they will be treated as equal vectors. So suppose A cannot be compared with B due to direction. But in vector only, if we take the negative of any vector, then that vector with the same magnitude gets inverted. That means the direction gets reversed. So suppose I have written minus B here. So that means B vector is showing in this direction, but when we take negative of that B vector, then magnitude will remain the same and it will get a direction opposite to it. So now minus B vector is showing in this direction. Now A and B could not be compared, could not be say equal because the direction was different. But now can we compare vector A with negative vector B? Because now vector A and negative of vector B both have the same magnitude and same direction. So now this vector A and vector B cannot be taken equal because they have the difficulty of taking direction. But vector A can be compared equal to negative of vector B. Now this knowledge of vector is going to help you to understand why we are deriving when we are establishing the law of conservation of momentum mathematically. Okay. Now since we have to take a situation of collision, so we are going to understand a situation, a scene in which two objects are there. Suppose object A and object B are there, and they are moving with the velocity u1 and u2. Right now I am taking in the same direction. So that means both will have the same sign. It can be opposite also. That I am right now not going to take, but it can be opposite also. So now M1 and U1 and M2 and U2. This is the before collision situation. Now for getting collision, two situations are needed here, essentially. First, they should be in the same line. They should not be on the different track, because if they are on different track, they are going to overtake each other. We have to give a collision, so they have to be on the same path. So first criteria is that they should move on the same path, and the second criteria is that this object A should have a higher value of velocity, speed, then only it is going to collide. Okay, so two essential conditions are there. Now due to these two situations, definitely they are going to collide with each other. So now this is the situation which we are taking during collision. Now what happens during collision? Suppose this collision takes place for time t. Now within this same time t, action and reaction both will take place. It's not that first action is done, then reaction is done. No, they take place simultaneously. Now, it's time to understand which of the bodies are affected by action and which of the bodies are affected by reaction. So suppose M1 is going to collide with M2. So I am taking this as the action and I am giving the value of the name of this action as FAB. Then obviously, according to our third law knowledge, Newton's third law knowledge, B object is also going to give reaction. Now the reaction will be on body A. So action is going to affect body B and reaction is going to affect body A. Now what kind of effect? Suppose due to action, M2 body, the body B which had a mass M2, which was moving earlier with the velocity U2, now it is moving with velocity V2 because due to force. Now which force? The action force, because B is affected by action force. I have already said that the force we have to consider which is being applied. So on B, action is there. So now this action will bring some change. So what has the change come? From U2 velocity, now the object B has got a velocity V2. Similarly, at the same time, the reaction will be observed, experienced, but experienced by which body? Body A. And now what the change is there due to reaction? Earlier body A was moving with initial velocity U1 before collision, now it's getting a velocity V1. So which force has brought this change? Reaction force. So we have to be very clear that which force, action and reactions are acting on two different bodies, and due to that value of action and reaction, and they are equal also. But impact can be different, I have already mentioned in the previous class. So this is the situation. Now we have to show what? That M1 U1 plus M2 U2. That means the sum of momenta before collision of these two objects is always equal to sum of momenta after collision. That is our target. Now starting with this situation, now we are going to do that. Now one by one I am going to measure the first value of action and then reaction. Now whenever you have to measure the magnitude of force, Newton's second law is very helpful. So we are going to use that. Suppose I am going to measure action first. Now to measure action, we have to understand that action has brought some change in momentum in that particular object, and here the object is B. So to measure the action value, I have taken M2V2, that is because action is on the M2 body, that means body B having mass M2. So M2V2 is the final new momentum now, and M2U2 was the earlier momentum. Now what Newton's second law said? That any force is equal to rate of change in momentum. Okay, we have already established this relation. So to get the rate of change in momentum is M2V2 minus M2U2 upon t, because time has, the action has been applied within the time t only. So this is the value of action which is being acted on B. So I will observe the B into consideration. So whatever change in momentum is there is for B. So according to Newton's second law, we can calculate value of action. Similarly, then we can find out the value of reaction also. But for reaction, we have to consider which body? Body A, because the reaction is being done on body A. So whatever change has been brought by the reaction in the momentum value, that we have to consider. So according to given situation, object A, which has mass m1, earlier it was moving with momentum m1u1. Now after collision it is moving with m1v1. So how can we find out again the change in momentum and time, that is rate of change in momentum? So m1v1 minus m1u1 upon t. So this is the for body A and this is for body B, because it is affected by action and this is affected by reaction. Now I have written this statement: FAB is equal to negative of FB. That means action is equal to reaction, that we have talked, but they are opposite to each other. So similarly, can you compare action and reaction directly? Because the value of action and reaction is always equal, but they are not comparable with each other because they are in opposite direction. So can we compare the value of action and reaction not directly with each other because they cannot be compared, but can we compare action with the negative of reaction? Because negative of any force or any vector will change the reverse the direction. So when we take action with the negative of reaction, that is comparable. So according to this knowledge, we can compare. Action is not being compared by the reaction. Action is being compared with the negative of reaction. Now we are going to substitute the value of these two. FAB we have already calculated, M2V2 minus M2U2 upon T, and F reaction is M1V1 minus M1U1 upon T. Negative is there because we are now taking negative of reaction. Now according to mathematical knowledge, T will get cancelled by T because both the changes have come in the same period of time. So what expression left now? Now expression says about M2V2 minus M2U2 is equal to, now since minus is there, it is going to change the sign, and already we have cancelled the denominator. M1V1 minus M1V1 plus M1U1. Why? Because negative is going to change the sign of negative. Now since we have to take this situation that before collision, so before collision is the velocity u2 and u1, so they should be on the same side. So according to mathematical concept, we can shift that. So what left now? M2v2 plus M1v1. This is after collision because v1 and v2, the velocity has been acquired by these two bodies after collision. And since negative is there, so when we will shift it to this side, this will become plus M1v1. Here it is minus M1v1, here it will be plus M1v1. And now we have to try to shift this expression to that side. M1u1 was already there, and now minus M2u2. And finally, we get this relation. This is the sum of momenta after collision, this is the sum of momenta before collision. And this was only the target, that the sum of momenta before and after collision will always be same. In this way, you can establish mathematically how the law will be considered. Okay? Now it's time to observe that in our daily life how the conservation of momentum present. So I have taken few examples. There are n number of examples which you can find out. Right now we are going to understand a few examples from our daily life where we can observe how the law of conservation of momentum is followed. Again the firing of pistol or any gun or any cannon or anything. This we have understood according to Newton's third law. Now we can understand the same thing with the help of conservation of momentum also. How come? Now we have already said that when we fire the gun, it gives a recoil, it gives a backward jerk which we call recoil, and the velocity by which it gives jerk backside is called recoil velocity. Okay, so we'll have questions based on this knowledge. Now try to understand, when the bullet is fixed into that, loaded into the pistol or anywhere, what is the momentum of the gun and the bullet? It will be 0 plus 0. How come 0? Because before firing, neither the bullet has some value of velocity nor the gun. So if we take the M1 U1 plus M2 U2, due to U1 0, U2 0, that means for bullet and for the gun. If we take the velocity, masses will be there, but due to product both have no velocity, so the sum will become 0 plus 0. So before firing, 0 plus 0. So what is sum coming? 0. That means the sum of momenta before firing is a kind of action and reaction. So before firing, the sum of momenta is showing 0 because both has no value. So 0 plus 0, it will be 0. Now when the firing is done, now due to this firing, the bullet acquires velocity in this direction. That means the bullet is going to acquire some value of momentum according to its mass and its velocity when it start moving, that velocity, and mass will be always there. So suppose I have taken this direction as a positive and somewhere it is getting 60 momentum. This is the momentum gained by bullet. Now law says that the sum is not going to change, the sum of momenta will be conserved. So it was earlier 0, so still it should be 0, that after firing also, after collision also it should be 0, but here the bullet has acquired plus 60 value. Now how mathematically this 60 will become 0? So according to mathematical knowledge, the gun should have how much momentum? Minus 60, and then when you add minus 60 with 60, you are going to get 0 because you have to conserve 0 value. Now this minus 60 is the momentum acquired by the gun. Now why it is minus? Because momentum is a vector quantity. So if one partner has acquired momentum in this direction, then the gun has to acquire momentum in this direction. And here the value of momentum of both the object, bullet and gun, will remain same. But one will be in this direction. Now to cancel this, the gun has to move backward, and that's why the gun requires. But the problem is that the bullet velocity and the gun's velocity, that is also same. Momentum is same, because then only plus 60 can be cancelled by minus 60. But do you think that momentum of bullet and if the gun is same, that means their velocity will be also same? No, because momentum is not only made up with velocity. The other factor also you have to take care, and that is mass. So bullet has acquired larger velocity because it has a smaller mass, but the gun, due to its larger mass, cannot acquire the same velocity as it is acquired by the bullet. So it recoils, but obviously the recoiling velocity will be always lesser than the velocity acquired by the bullet, because mass factor is also there, so we have to consider. But momentum wise, the gun and the bullet both will have same value of momentum because they have to bring 0, but one will be in this direction, another in this direction, and that's why gun recoils. So according to law of conservation of momentum, to conserve the momentum, the gun recoils. This gun recoiling is due to is caused due to cancelling of the momentum acquired by the bullet. So in this way also you can explain. Another examples, have you ever seen firefighters? They use a large size hose pipes. Now to extinguish the fire, to quench the fire, they have to hold the hose pipe very strongly. Otherwise, the hose pipe will start dancing. The pipe will start moving here and there. So it will be very difficult to fix the target, because water has to be thrown on the area where the fire has taken place. So holding the hose pipe is very necessary. Then what? Again the question is that what is the need of holding hose pipe? Similarly, as we have observed in the gun and bullet, before coming water into the hose pipe outside, the water and the hose both have 0 momentum because both are at rest. But as soon as water comes out, now the water has acquired some momentum. Now to cancel this, the hose pipe will move backside. Now if it will recoil backside, so it can recoil randomly, and the pipe has some elasticity also, so it will move here and there. Now to stop that, again we have to apply, the fireman has to apply, the firefighter has to apply the muscular force to hold, so that it can control the recoil jerk, the recoil velocity. So this is there also where we follow the law of conservation of momentum. Sprinkler, this you could have observed in the stadium, the field, how a sprinkler works, or in the agricultural field also we use it. How does it work? Do you think that any motor is there to give a rotation? It can be, but in the simple sprinkler, this works on the law of conservation of momentum. Again, before sprinkling, the water and this pipes, small tiny pipes, outlets, have zero momentum, but once water starts moving, then water is acquiring some momentum. Now to cancel this momentum, suppose water is coming out in this direction, so to cancel the momentum, this pipes has to move backward, but since they are fixed with something on the rotatory mechanism, so what do? They start rotating on this their particular axis of rotation, and in this way it will start moving. Once you stop it, that means now both will have zero momentum, so both will come at rest, so it will stop. Even when you burning in Deepavali and all, have you seen that chakkar? When you burn fire on that also works on the conservation of momentum. Think how, just think upon it, how that chakkar which we use in the Deepavalis and all the different occasions, how does it work on conservation of momentum? Now it's your task to analyze and think how it is applicable. Thank you.